Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, does not cost you anything. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got an Ace of Swords. Clarity. This is consciousness. This is enlightenment. This is purity. This is really a mind that is free from doubts and worries. Let's put this into some context, okay? I kind of get the feeling that you're someone very often misunderstood. I feel like that doesn't bother you. Yeah. I feel like you have the conviction of what you're doing, so other people's opinions don't really matter much. And now we've got a 10. And maybe this is about a situation where there are some naysayers. Yeah. Because we have this ace, we have this certainty, and it feels like there's some other energy around that's kind of trying to rain on your parade a little bit. Let's see what else we've got. 3 of Swords, 6 of Swords, Queen of Swords, and a 7 of Cups. Interesting. With all of this air energy, I feel like you are taking your enlightened mind and you're cutting through something that is very limiting and very toxic for you. This is you getting through something. This is you cutting your way through here with conviction, with consciousness, with enlightenment, with awareness, with certainty, with no doubts. You're getting away from a toxic situation, maybe a toxic relationship, some kind of toxic energy. Let's see what else we've got. We've got a Princess of Cups and a Queen. Interesting, a Queen of Cups, Princess of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, yes, and a 5 of Pentacles. Very interesting, because the 3 into the 5, this is really about you understanding who you are and what kind of life you want. The 3 is about understanding the process of creation on the physical plane. It's really a card, the 3s, all the 3s really, are about self-identity. So I feel like you really do know who you are and what you want, and you're willing to shake things up to go get it, to build the kind of life that you want. Okay? This is really, this is really deep energy here. This is kind of crazy, because all this air energy over here, usually the air is kind of, it's not what we want in a reading, right? I always say that, cool, we got no air, that's good. You have an abundance of air energy in your reading right now, but I feel like it is very good. I feel like it is very intentional, very purposeful. You're using all of this air energy, your powers of communication, your mental energy, your planning, your strategy, your objective viewpoint even. The way that you're able to rise above a tumultuous situation and see what's really going on here in order to make progress. In order to build the life you want, you've got to get away from this life that you don't want, or elements of it. It could be a self-limiting energy. It doesn't necessarily mean other people. I think it might. We do have the court cards here. We might be. But kind of what I'm seeing with the Princess of Cups here is this is almost like your inner child. These are like your deep dreams and desires. And I feel like you're turning your attention from whatever this stuff is, whatever has been limiting and whatever's been kind of obligatory and kind of toxic, honestly. You're cutting through that and you're focusing on what you really truly want in your deepest truest, most authentic self. Yeah, you're lifting the veil off of who you really are and what you really want. And it kind of feels like an inner child thing. It's a Princess of Cups after all. And then here we are in the earth energy, really letting that water flow onto the earth as a river might flow, creating the kind of life we want. And maybe that river has such tremendous force behind it that it's going to knock a few trees over. It's going to stir up the sediment at the bottom. It's going to cause some disruption of things. Yeah. And that to me is us really getting through this 10 of Swords, putting an end to things that are just not meant for us anymore. Yeah. There's a lot of power here. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is one random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. And we're just going to set this one down over here, Jimbo, the Lizard King, right there on top of that card. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this tarot card reading you feel like you know what that card is, put your prediction down in the comments. Yeah, let's do it together. Let's make it an interactive group exercise of intuition. I hope you'll play along. All right. Interesting thing about the spread right off the bat, there's no major arcana energies. So this is something that I think, and I'm wondering if we had this in your reading the other day. I'm trying to remember. I do so many of these, I'd have to go back and check. The idea that spirit is not directly involved in any of these energies. Spirit is the table itself. Spirit is supporting you in all of this, but this is work that you have to do. This is decisions that you have to make. These are realizations that you must come to. I think we're learning to see the signs and symbols and the synchronicities around us coming from spirit, coming from the environment, but there's no direct activation of any of that spiritual energy. Spirit is the supporting role here. Spirit is the table. Spirit is the glue that's holding all of this together. As you make these choices, make these decisions, make these breakthroughs, and you allow your emotional, spiritual, intuitive, creative waters to stir up some dust. You're a river that's starting to flow again, and all of this it's going to churn up some sediment at the bottom, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. The Six of Swords in the previous position. Now, there's a connection with spiders with you. I think you're the spider person. You either have a fondness for spiders or there's some irrational fear, but there's some sort of attachment with spider energy. Yeah. I don't know if it's a symbol or if it's something that you wear, if you have a brooch or a t-shirt or something, but you and spiders, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, the Six of Swords. I think that this is really the intention that you had for your life from long ago, perhaps. You know, I think that you've had a particular outline for your life. You've got to write a report. You know, this is the outline you make ahead of time, or this is like the table of contents kind of thing. I feel like this isn't the way things are going right now, though. Yeah, because it kind of feels like, especially when we look at the other air energies here, the 3, the 10, you know, it looks like we've deviated from this outline a little bit. We've gotten off the railroad track a little bit, right? Maybe off the rails a little. It's not going according to plan. I think that plan was really for a long time the way that you saw your life unfolding. Now, Spirit's showing me a box full of memories. What is the box full of memories? Trinkets, pictures, letters, weird objects, stickers, buttons, I don't know. Random things. It's a memory box. And I think it's kind of it's a nostalgia. It reminds you of the plan for your life that you once had that's kind of gotten off track, right? I think you're getting things back on track now. It's almost like this is where you proposed the river to go. But because it's nature, right? You can plan all you want, but it's never going to go according to plan. Your river kind of got off course a little bit. But I think what we're doing is we're getting rid of the the toxic elements in the water, the restrictive elements. We're getting rid of even the memories. And not literally getting rid of the memories, but we are processing through those. We're no longer nostalgic for the past. We're hopeful for the future. We're optimistic for the future. And the thing with the Three of Swords, it can be used for good or evil. It's the memory. It's our ability to recreate something or create something in our minds, in our psychic atmosphere. You can create anything you want. You can relive a memory from the past if you want. And I think we do that a lot. And it hurts us again. Because as far as the mind, the body, the soul, the unconscious is concerned, it doesn't know the difference between past and present or future. If we recreate this in our psychic atmosphere, for all intents and purposes, it's happening again to us right now. So we're continually injuring ourselves with these memories. Or we can have memories of the future. We can visualize what we want in the future. And we can start living that way. We can populate our psychic atmosphere with those kinds of memories. Future memories, right? Visions of the future that we will arrive at. And so this can be our greatest tool. Because I think this is realizing, not lamenting how weird the river got, before, up till now, but now thinking, okay, where's the river going? How am I going to direct it? Let's do so consciously and intentionally. I think that's exactly what you're doing, like I said, with the Ace of Swords. You have conviction, you have consciousness, you have enlightenment, awareness. You have one-pointedness, you have centeredness. You don't know all the answers, and that's okay. You're also not letting anybody else steer the ship. You've got the wheel, right? You're in control of this. And I think in a large part it has to do with this, the Queen of Swords, which is water and air. And that's what we're talking about here, is water and air, thinking and feeling. Your thoughts, your memories, your feelings, your wishes, your desires, and how those are manifesting. And the sediment that gets kicked up in your life, the change, the movement of the Five of Pentacles is either going to be regrettable or very welcomed. Change is all around us. Are we going to be in harmony with that change? Are we going to be co-creators with that force? Or are we just going to get mad and lament the fact that all this sediment is getting kicked up? We don't mind the sediment as long as it's leading us where we want to go, as long as it's fulfilling our purpose and we're kind of in control of that. I don't mind the loud construction sounds going on in my neighborhood if I'm the one doing the building, right? But if it's just everything else and it's impacting my life, I'm going to be annoyed by that, right? But if I'm the one under construction, or it's my life that's being built, well, you're going to expect some dust and some noise and some, things like this. And that's the Five of Pentacles. Things are moving, things are changing. Is it because we are building a life? Or is this stuff just going on around us? Yeah. So the Ten of Swords is us breaking through these ideas of others' opinions, others' plans for us. It's also getting us out of that fixed idea that if things don't go according to plan, then it's ruined. Then it's either, sometimes we feel like if things deviate from our outline, it's chaos. We don't know how to deal with that. So we're getting out of that kind of rigid structure, rigid organization, the rigid expectations. We can have a plan, we can have a blueprint, we can have an outline, but we've got to be able to adapt and go with the flow as things change, as the variables start to invariably happen. Rather than us freaking out when things don't go our way, let's roll with it. Let's flow like the river, And I think that's exactly what you're doing. And now at the same time, because you're doing that, because let's say we put that Ten of Swords there behind us, now we're this Ace of Swords, we're able to cut through all the muck, that's also in our future. It's not like we have to, just because we are a river and we've gotten out of this fixed expectation kind of thing, things always going according to plan, doesn't mean that we're just going to let ourselves roll right into some quicksand. No, we're not going to do that. That's why we've got this air energy here, is to let us know when we need to avoid the quicksand. And you have your memory, your power of visualization. You can think ahead of time. You can visualize what's happening a week from now and say, we got to pivot a little bit because we're headed right for some quicksand. You got the spyglass, like a pirate or something. And you can see that there's danger up ahead. Let's just go around it. You don't have to just drive right into it. And that's part of having this enlightenment, part of this discernment, this conscious awareness, and your objectivity. This is that pirate up in the crow's nest, right? Can see everything for miles. The lookout. It's got the watch. And it can see, hey, there's some quicksand up ahead. Let's start doing something about it to avoid it, or let's prepare for what's going to be a pretty sticky kind of ride for a minute. And this is that objectivity. You're able to step back and see the bigger picture of things. Know where you're going. Yeah. This is really crazy energy right now. This is good stuff. This is a lot of personal power. Let's go to the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. And it helps out the channel. I really do appreciate that. We're talking about the water and the air, right? The feeling and the thinking. I think we've talked about the thinking. We know how our mind works. We know about the memory, the visualization. We know about the plans and how our mind might kind of get a little bit twisted up when things don't go according to plan. So we can expect that. But as far as the emotions go, we're coming out of the Seven of Cups. This is us knowing what kind of quicksand we want to avoid. These are those emotional things, those vibes, those situations that we don't want in our lives. Whatever things these are, relationships, interests, hobbies, whatever it is. There's nothing inherently wrong with these, but they're wrong for us. Okay? So, one person's garbage is another person's treasure. It really doesn't matter. We're not judging these things. But we have the confidence to say, yeah, those aren't for me. And so we're able to overcome obstacles like this. This is the confidence that we're going to overcome, the obstacles, and we're going to be able to say no to those things that aren't for us, as tempting as they may be, as pretty as they might be dressed up. We know it's not right for us. No judgment, but no thank you, right? And that's allowing us really to see a little bit deeper into ourselves, because we're getting rid of this stuff. And we're taking our consciousness and we're seeing what's left. If this is what I don't want, this is us discovering what we do want. This is the real nature of that river, of that water. And the first thing we have is the Princess of Cups, kind of an inner child. It's kind of like, even looking back before all of this planned out life, what is it that you wanted? Right? What has Spirit been telling you? What are the signs? What are the dreams? What are the childhood wishes and dreams? What did you want to be when you were a kid? I'm sure somebody asked you when you were a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? This may not be the answer, but this is us trying to look at ourselves, trying to find the answer. And we get little clues and little hints. And this is us realizing that our entire life, there's been a theme. What has the theme of your life been? What has your life been preparing you for in subtle ways? Not obvious ways. Sometimes we get stuck looking at the obvious. Let's look in between things. Let's look at the shadows between the leaves of the tree. Yeah. Let's look at the space between, right? Shout out to Dave Matthews. It's one of my favorite bands. You know Dave Matthews Band? I heard he does watch the channel. Heard that from a friend, and he's a big fan of Dove and Serpent Tarot. We need to appreciate the subtle, rather than looking for the obvious. What has your life been preparing you for? It may seem obvious once you discover it, but little small ways, weird things that have happened to you over your life, big things, maybe bad things, dark things, painful things. Every single decision that you've ever made, every event, every point event in your life is like a little marker on a GPS, right? That's led you to this moment. So this card is really about us appreciating that and trying to discern what Spirit's been trying to tell you. You know, what is this kind of theme that's been building? What is your personal myth? And so maybe we can see how we can be co-creators in that process. That if we dive into it deep enough, now this is the Queen of Cups, this is the position of your environment. So it's about us realizing what are we doing in our environment, in our life, in the external world. Are we going with the flow of everybody else? Are we doing the emotional mirroring, where we're reflecting back the vibe of everybody else, not really expressing what I'm feeling, just blending in, by doing that mirroring thing? It's kind of a defense thing. It's kind of an avoidance tactic in a way too. There's a real depth in you. And I think that the further we get into this water, the more you're able to discover those clues. And it may start to seem more and more obvious now kind of where your river is headed. And it may not be anything like what you've planned, right? But it's more authentic. It's more real. But we've got to look at it. And we've got to see if we've been living a life that is an expression of who we are. Is our world reflecting our soul, or are we just reflecting the world around us from other people, from other energies? Yeah. And I think that's a very important work for all of us. Yeah. The Three of Pentacles in the position, this is the difficulty. And this is the decision that we make, really, to begin constructing a world that is a reflection of our deepest, truest, most authentic self. This is you knowing who you are and building a world that is going to be an expression of who you are. It may not be according to plan. It's certainly not going to be what other people expect it to look like. This is using your own enlightenment, your own discernment. Okay. Now I feel like there's a connection with maybe a parent. I feel like there's some sort of parental energy here. I don't know if both of your parents have passed or just one, but I feel like they had a rather specific vision for what they wanted you to do or who they wanted you to be. So I feel like at a young age, your river was kind of being directed from that parental energy. Yeah. And so I feel like this is something also that you're getting away from, the idea that things have to be so minutely planned. Yeah. Because I feel like someone was micromanaging you, like when you were a kid, like a just very, very set schedule for things. Yeah. And so we're kind of getting used to a little bit of the disruption. We know that this river is going to flow and there's going to be some sediment that gets kicked up, which could be the form of kind of more memories, more feelings, more clues. We're going to find some treasure down there. This is a little bit more of kind of following the clues, following the breadcrumbs, rather than things being so minutely planned. Okay? And we see the trail, we see the thread behind us, but we are bringing that into the future ourselves. We are the one that is kind of mapping out this whole labyrinth. So it's not something that we can see the future of. It's not something that we can really plan. We have to make our decisions in the moment. Again, this is the card that says you don't know everything and you don't need to know. We're right there on the forefront of it. We're on the cutting edge of our life. We're creating it as we go. Yeah. And I think you're doing it from a very authentic way right now. And the Three of Pentacles asserts this fact that there is this sense of your own identity and now building a life that is an expression of that, kind of one moment at a time. One moment at a time. And that's constant motion. So there's a 5, there's change, there's movement, there is progress. Sometimes the 5 of Pentacles is worry. Maybe there's financial worries. Maybe there's health stuff. We live an earthly life. So we're going to have earthly concerns. But in a more subtle way, a more metaphysical way, this is progress. This is the fact that things are always moving forward, whether it's time or space or whatever it is. There's a forward motion. At least that's the way we perceive it, I guess. We perceive a forward movement of time and space. Okay. And that's what this is. And we're right at it's like we're the tip of the drill, right? That's just kind of pushing forward and just seeing where it goes. Yeah. Let's take a look at the mystery card. Yeah. Let's see what we've got over here. I'm very curious. See, we don't have any fire energy here. Maybe Jimbo will bring a little bit of fire. It's getting a little chilly here. There's a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings, right? And we've got that earth energy here at the end, which shows that we're making progress, that we are manifesting our authentic self, and we're trying to create a life that is a reflection of our authentic self. We have to get all this water and all this air in harmony. All this stuff needs to be worked out so that we can manifest the life we want, the best life. So what is this going to be? Maybe it's the fire that starts all this process, right? Maybe it's the Hermit. Maybe it's your power card. But I want to see some sort of spiritual energy or fire energy. Fire really is what I want. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. Here we go. Well, yeah, there's fire. Knight of Wands. This is double fire. This is fire on fire. And I think that this is the impulse, because we always talk about fire to earth. That's the act of creation. And what gets in the way of that act of creation? Our thinking and our feeling, right? Sometimes this card can be impulsive, that every fire we feel, we just express it. Every thought that comes to our mind, we say it. Every impulse, we do it. Just like that. Instant creation. But there's a big buffer in you right now, and that is all of this water and all of this air. But we're taking our Ace of Swords. This is us harmonizing thinking and feeling, working all this stuff out so that this spiritual impulse, this creative impulse, can reach the level of earth. We want to go from earth, or from fire to earth, instantaneously. One instant act of creation, at least as quickly as possible. There's a little bit of latency always, right? Because we're human beings. We have thoughts. We have feelings always. So there's a little bit of latency. But we're trying to eliminate all of the unnecessary resistance. We're trying to speed up that latency in our ongoing act of creating our best life. Now, we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link at the end of the video, and there's a link down in the video description. New readings for Virgo every Tuesday and Saturday, but I'm here every day, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Come back, see me tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, does not cost you anything. And leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.